Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Sarah, and I am happy to be with you on this Monday in August. How is your Monday going? My Monday was, kind of Monday-like, as they tend to be. It wasn't bad, just a lot of things that had to be caught up on, and some various small annoyances, but nothing horrible or major. Just a Monday kind of Monday. I hope you had not a Monday kind of Monday. I hope your Monday was lovely in some way. We are going to talk about social media news because that's what podcast this is, and we are going to start with a story that just makes me smile and impresses the heck out of me. It is the fact that Simone Biles has earned her 6th U.S. all-around gymnastics title. Not only has she earned her 6th U.S. all-around gymnastics title, but she did so by landing a historic triple-double, which is she's the first woman in history to do so, and it is impressive. I've seen various videos of it throughout the day. The one I like best is the one where they show it in slow motion because you can really see what she's doing, although it's just as impressive in regular real time because holy buckets, she gets so much height. She is so fast. I don't even know how you count that you're doing the appropriate amount of flips, twists, spins, whatever you want to call them. So she did this move before at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in Kansas City. She did it on Friday, but she was not pleased because after she performed this, the 2 flips and the 3 full twists, that's what it is, 2 flips and 3 full twists, she did stumble. And as I said, that was on Friday. Did I say that? Anyway, it was on Friday. Now, yesterday, she did it again. She is 22, if you are not familiar with Simone Biles. And this time, she stuck the landing, and she looks so happy. The joy on her face after she sticks that landing is just wonderful to see. It's the first time, as I said, that a woman has landed this in competition, which is impressive enough. But again, the height, as I said, that she gets when she did this during her floor routine, just in case you didn't know. And the height she gets is amazing. So as I said, this is her 6th world champion. She is the reigning world champion, and now she finished the competition on Sunday with the U.S. all-around title. It is her 6th. Previously, the only woman to win 6 U.S. all-around gold medals was Clara Schroth-Lomede, who won her titles between 1945 and 1952. So it has been a minute since anyone won 6 U.S. all-around gold medals. So she not only made history by landing her amazing triple, double, triple, whatever you want to call it, with her in her floor routine, and then the 6th title, 6 titles, my goodness. She also made history by performing a double dismount, 2 twists and 2 somersaults off the balance beam on Friday. And I saw that one this morning. My husband was watching ESPN or Fox News, Fox Sports or something this morning, whatever, and they showed the balance beam. Just scares the snot out of me every time I watch it. I'm so impressed. The things that people the people do on that tiny little piece of wood, and the way she flipped, because you have to do it backwards, she just starts flipping backwards on the balance beam. And I realize that gymnasts do lots and lots of things on the balance beam, but it just impresses the heck out of me. In less happy news, before all of this wonderful all of these wonderful history-making events happened this week. Last week, Biles did criticize USA Gymnastics, which is the national governing body of the sport, for failing to protect its athletes against abuse. And this story has been happening for a while. Biles revealed in 2018 that she was one of the many gymnasts abused by former national team doctor Larry Nassar. And this just, every time I hear these stories, my heart goes out, my heart breaks that this happened to so many young women, and that it just seems like nothing really was done to protect them. And her quote, she was quoted on Wednesday as saying, "You had one job. You literally had one job, and you couldn't protect us." And I heard more of that interview, and she's right. She sounds heartbroken, as she should. She sounds angry, as she should. And, it must just cast a pall on some of the joy that she is also feeling this week, because she is competing in this sport that she loves, in this sport that she is so amazing at, and yet that sport and her career in it is tainted a little bit because of what happened and the abuse that she suffered. So good for her for speaking about it. Good for her for moving forward. Just my heart goes out to her and anyone else who went through that experience. I'm hoping that there will be some healing. I'm hoping there will be some action of some kind, but I'm hoping that this week just stands out for her as absolutely amazing, because for those of us watching from the sidelines, it is so super impressive. I cannot say enough about her. I always wanted to take gymnastics when I was little. There was really no place to do so in the middle of nowhere, Montana, where I grew up. And I did take a week one summer when they had a camp that came to the local school. And so clearly I know so much about gymnastics, but no, I did participate in that and got to do just some extraordinarily basic things in terms of gymnastics. But I still love to watch it when it's on, and I remember that it's on. I love flipping through the channels, and there it is, and then you just watch everybody flipping around, and the floor routines are amazing. The balance beam is my favorite thing to watch while cringing, because and sometimes there's those slips and falls that just make you but no, there's so many amazing aspects of the sport of gymnastics, and I will stop gushing because I could gush and gush for many, 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 many long hours. At any rate, let's move on to another story about amazing women. And this story is actually a couple of months old, but it has been popping up on my social media of late. So just in case you haven't heard about it, as I hadn't, it turns out that Barbie has created 17 new dolls based on powerful and inspiring women. And this is an article from about 3 months ago, so you maybe have heard about this already. But Barbie recently made a survey wherein they asked mothers about their Barbies, and 86% of the mothers said that they were skeptical about buying one for their daughter since they were worried about the type of role models that they would be exposed to. 86% of the women surveyed. It doesn't say how many women were surveyed, but that is a pretty significant statistic. So after that survey and after that very high number, the company decided to create 17 new dolls, each dedicated to a talented and special woman who inspired the world and left some kind of legacy for all of humanity. On a similar note, the Lego company has also created a new set to honor the 5 most inspiring women at NASA. So that's also cool. We're going to talk about which 17 women they chose to create in Barbie form when we come back from the break. So stay tuned. You're listening to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, and I'll be right back.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. Before the break, I was gushing about Simone Biles and gymnastics in general, and then we moved on to Barbie and the 17 dolls they recently created that were inspired, by various women who have left a legacy for humanity. So let's go ahead and see who those women are. And if you want to see the pictures, because, you should see how the Barbie version matches up to the real life version. The first one is Frida Kahlo, who was an artist, and they did not give her a unibrow, which makes me a little bit sad because that is kind of the one thing that people think about when they think about Frida Kahlo. Her outfit is beautiful. Her hair is appropriate. It looks like Frida Kahlo. But no unibrow, which... Have you ever seen a portrait of Frida Kahlo where she did not have a unibrow? They I think they dropped the ball on that one. Number 2 is Amelia Earhart, who of course was one of the pioneers of women aviators, of aviators in general, and hers is nice. Looks, I can't complain too much about it. Has that cute signature hair that Earhart rocked. Oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this. Martina Wojciechowska, who is a journalist who completed the 7 summits in 2010 after managing to climb the 7 tallest mountains on Earth, a journey that she started in 2002. That is amazing. Good for her. Patty Jenkins, who is a filmmaker. She directed Wonder Woman, which is very cool. Katherine Johnson, NASA mathematician and physicist. Yay! Ms. Johnson's calculations of orbital mechanics were crucial in the success of the first U.S. manned space flights. And she has got her Barbie version has got the best cat eye glasses. They are awesome. Ava DuVernay, filmmaker. Barbie, who is rocking some awesome braids. That makes me happy. Ava was the first black woman to win the directing award at Sundance Film Festival, and also the first black female director to win a Golden Globe and Academy Award nominations. Helene DeRose, who is a renowned chef. She has 2 Michelin stars and is the owner of 3 restaurants in London, Paris, and Moscow. So her Barbie is dressed in her chef whites. Ashley Graham, who is a model and activist, and a Barbie who actually has hips. It's amazing. Like, not, the teeny tiny waist and hips. No, this is a Barbie with curves. That makes me happy that this Barbie has some curves to her. The point in Barbie's initiative isn't to create a limited number of such dolls just for Women's Day, which is what they originally did, but to insert them formally into the market. They say it's important for little girls to be inspired by real women with real life achievements that go beyond having a certain appearance. It's only taken them how many years to really figure that out? I don't mean to be snarky, but really people have been saying this for a very long time. So that is only 8. This article makes me sad because they told me 17 and now I'm only seeing 8. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just had to look in a different spot. So clearly I am not paying enough attention in life today. Let's continue seeing who else they have. Next is a prima ballerina, Yuan Tan, who is the picture they chose of her just jumping in a wonderful... apparently I'm into jumping today. Then Sarah Gamma, who is a soccer player. Layla Piadeish, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, who is a designer and entrepreneur. Ibtihaj Muhammad, again, I apologize if I mispronounced that, who is a fencing champion, also a hijab wearing fencing champion. So that is awesome. Oh, Bindi Irwin, who is the daughter of Steve Irwin and is also a conservationist. Her Barbie comes with a koala clinging to her arm, which is very cute. Xiaotong Guan, who is an actress and philanthropist. So I'm really happy to see all the diversity here. Chloe Kim, who is a snowboarding champion. Geez. Gabby Douglas, speaking of gymnastics, she is a gymnastics champion. And let's see. Hui Ruoki, a volleyball champion. Let's see, my computer is being slow and not scrolling. Nicola Adams Obi, who is a boxing champion, and her Barbie is rocking some really awesome hair as well. So there you have it. A very good mix. We've got some African American. I love that they have the fencing champion who is in the full hijab. A lot of Asian women represented. I'm not seeing, besides Frida, I'm not seeing a lot of Latina or Hispanic women represented, but maybe those will be coming. Maybe I just didn't count correctly. And so I apologize if I did not count correctly, but I am impressed with the level of diversity that is represented in these 7 women, and I like that they got some historical women in there as well as some modern role models. So you've got, Amelia Earhart, Frida Kahlo, women who may or may not be as familiar with some of the historical figures. So you can learn about that as a fan of history. I like that. Now you maybe can learn something about historical figures as well as women role models in all kinds of areas, from sports to philanthropy to, there's a woman who's a chef, etc. I appreciate this, and I hope that they don't stop with these 17. I would love to see this be an ongoing series, rather than like they have all the Barbies that you can collect, like I think they have holiday ones, Christmas ones, maybe princessy ones. This is terrible. I did play with Barbies growing up, but I couldn't tell you all of the kinds that you can collect. But I might consider collecting the Barbies who are based on amazing women. I would do that. So, sure. And you know what? I'm now seeing one article said it was 3 months ago. One article says it was a year ago. So I really don't know when these came out. So this is probably news that is really, really old. And you're sitting there thinking, my goodness, she just did so much time on this. Move on, lady. I shall do that. In fact, why don't we go ahead and take our second break of the podcast and then come back and wrap up this episode. Stay tuned. You're listening to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, and I'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. Speaking of amazing women, which we kind of have been for this entire episode, have you seen today's Google Doodle? And it is by a Georgia teen who has won the most recent Doodle for Google contest. And she has a message of thanks for her mom. The teen's name is Aranza Peña Popo, and her doodle is called Once You Get It, Give It Back. It's a selfless expression of appreciation for all that her mother did for her. It is, you get the G, O, and then there's an oval with a family portrait, and then maybe a mother and a daughter standing in front of it, and then the G and the L and the E. That's what it looks like just as you glance, you know, like there's a mother and a baby and then a mother and a daughter standing in front of that portrait. So this was the 2019 Doodle for Google competition, and this is a representative of a daughter. This is a representation of a daughter returning a big favor and growing up to care for her mother. So, Aranza Peña Popo is said that when I grow up, or she created this doodle in response to the theme of when I grow up, I hope ... And so, as I said, hers is titled Once You Get It, Give It Back. She is from Lithonia, Georgia, and she returned her mother's devotion with a soulful doodle that shows her and her mother in front of a portrait of the pair at much younger ages. In her words, the doodle depicts a, quote, framed picture of my mother carrying me as a baby, which is a real picture in her house, and below the picture is me caring for her when she's older in the future. Her selection as the contest's winner was announced today by Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show. And for almost as long as Google has been around, it's livened up its bare bones search page with artwork that draws attention to notable people, events, holidays, and anniversaries. I love that they do the Doodle for Google contests because you get some really amazing artwork from a lot of different people of a lot of different ages. Google Doodles have celebrated, among many other things, Pac-Man's anniversary, Copernicus's birthday, Mother's Day, and the World Cup. That's just to name, a tiny few, as well as reminding us of lesser-known real-world heroes. The National Doodle for Google contest started in 2008, and this year's finalists included images of magic, kites, space travel, comic books, and farming, in addition to Popo's message of family. Popo says she has been interested in art since she was 3, but was suffering from a massive art block during her senior year of high school. She was inspired to honor her mother as the clock was ticking away on submitting her art. She says, I came up with the idea at the last minute, actually the day of the deadline. I looked at the photograph of my mother, the real version that inspired the drawing, and thought, hey, why don't I reverse it? I wanted to focus more on a message of helping out my awesome mother more than anything else. Popo's doodle will be displayed on Google for one day, and she'll get a $30,000 college scholarship and a trip to Google's headquarters in Mountain View, California. Popo, who was valedictorian of Arabia Mountain High School in DeKalb County, Georgia, says her interests lie in literature and learning more about herself. And so I really wish her all the luck in the world. She is a very talented young woman, and she has a beautiful smile. Now that I see her, the picture of her, she has a really beautiful smile. So congratulations to her on not only creating a wonderful tribute to her mother, but also the scholarship and all that comes with it. So best of luck to her as she moves forward. Our final story, not really so much about inspiring women. Now that I am looking at how this episode has gone, there's definitely been a theme of some wonderful women and inspiring women. This next story is about women or a woman, and it is trending today. But you know what? Don't click on it. That is part of the title of this episode. Do not click. Do not click on it. You may have noticed that the hashtag I Stand With Whitney is trending. I thought, oh, what is that? Let me click on it and find out. It's not about Whitney Houston. That's what a lot of the tweets are about, is sadness that it is not about Whitney Houston. It is actually about Whitney Cummings, who herself says she is disappointed that the hashtag is not about Whitney Houston, so she has a sense of humor about it. But she is a comedian and writer, and she says that she is being extorted by someone who took screen grabs of a photo she posted and immediately deleted on Instagram recently that accidentally gave a peek at her nipple. She's quoted as saying, in April, I accidentally posted an Insta story that showed nipple. She said that in a Twitter thread today. Once I realized it, I deleted. The people who took screen grabs are trying to get money from me. Some said they have offers to sell them. Some are asking for money to not post the photo. Reps for Cummings did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Cummings created the CBS sitcom Two Broke Girls and was a producer and writer for the Roseanne revival. She came out accusing her extorters in a series of tweets, making it clear to them that she is not going to buckle. She said, they all must think I'm way more famous than I am, but also must think I'm way more easily intimidated than I am. If anyone is going to make money or likes off my nipple, it's going to be me. So here it all is, you foolish dorks, she wrote as a caption to the nip slip pic. That is hard to say, nip slip pic. When a woman in the public eye is extorted, she continued, we have to spend time, money, and energy dealing with it, hiring lawyers and security experts, and living with a pit in our stomach about when and how we will be humiliated. Y'all can have my nipple, but not my time or my money anymore. She said that she won't be posting the names of the creep who threatened her, thinking that they might just be dumb kids with stupid ideas that might come back to haunt them later in life. I wouldn't want the stupid ideas I had when I was a teenager to follow me around forever, or else every time someone Googled me, they'd see me shoplifting a No Fear t-shirt. Those on social media reacted swiftly in her support, creating the hashtag I Stand With Whitney, which started to trend. Cummings, as I mentioned earlier, reacted with humor. Nobody is more bummed than me that I Stand With Whitney isn't about Whitney Houston. Now, here's why don't click. This is a story about nip slip, and unfortunately it has been taken over by mansplaining. Not mansplaining, I mean, they do say they're trying to be funny, I think. But when you click on it, what you get, not the story about Whitney Cummings. You have to wade through everything to try and figure out what the hashtag even references. No, the first thing that pops up is a man's scrotum. Later on, you get a man's mutilated penis. So their comments are, I stand with Whitney, so here is a picture of, something that happened to me. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. Kind of just a reason to put one more unsolicited pic. It rhymes with pic, starts with a D. Stop putting your penis on. Just stop making us look at your genitalia, please. This was an accident. She then owned up to it. She, is kind of taking back her own power in the situation. Giving us a picture of your scrotum, giving us a picture of your mutilated penis. No, I do not need to click on a seemingly innocent hashtag. And so that's what a lot of the texts or the tweets are, is now I can't unsee it. Don't click on this. A lot of memes coming up of people who are horrified that that's what they saw. So I would recommend Googling it if you want to read more about it, if you didn't get enough information from this particular story. But don't click on the hashtag unless you really want to see. Ugh. Yeah, that is my advice to you for today. So kudos to Whitney Cummings, who is an amazing woman for trying to address this head on. She fits in, I think, fairly well with the theme of the episode. Boo, no kudos to the men who chose to post pictures of their genitalia in supposed support. Not buying it in any sense of that phrase. At any rate, on that note, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode of the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you next time when we'll find out what else is trending in the world.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.